Hey witches, welcome back. So I had a quick little idea that I wanted to share with you. It was one of the things that helped me a lot. I was speaking with a good friend of mine who is also a Gemini, and as air signs and as witches, our brains are constantly going a million miles an hour anyway in the same amount of directions. And it's difficult to stay focused and stress-free anyway, especially when you're trying to keep your vibes high for manifestation, which what you'll learn along this process, if you're doing it right, like if you were to get my book and follow it to a T, you will be able to manifest anything, because I set you up getting rid of all the crap first. But most people don't do that. They start with the visualizing, and then they have to learn, oh, I have to stay happy. Okay, that's going to be difficult because I have this fear or this issue. But I attack it from the front and get all that shit out of the way first. So do that first. Get rid of anything that's blocking you. Get rid of your mental health crap. And then what you can't get rid of, when you're doing this part that I'm about to talk about, it'll fix that too. But get rid of as much as you can in the beginning. Like I talked about in the video yesterday that I made that said, thank you, universe. And I talked about shadow work and why it was so important before manifesting something, because then stuff's going to come out and it's just going to slow it down or stop it, and it's just a waste of time. So say you've already done all that. You've done your shadow work, stripped everything down. You planted your seeds, you're seeing your signs, and you want to just keep watering it and just keep bringing it towards you, because the faster you can get in alignment, the faster it will land. It's just the way the universe works. It is laws of quantum physics. Everything exists. Every outcome exists for every situation. But you're lining yourself up with the situation you want to experience right here, right now in the 3D world. And to do that can be difficult if you are stressed out. So we were talking about ways to kind of stay happy. Okay, just happy or neutral, because it's okay to be neutral as well. But being happy is even a higher vibe. So you want to try to shoot for happiness, because it's more fun than neutral anyway. So there are a couple things you can do. My first suggestion is something that I started a few weeks ago, and it was not easy at first. Being the way I am, I like to think about stuff that's going to happen 12 hours in the future so I can start planning for it. I've always been that way, and I knew it had to stop, because I was not being able to be aware in the present moment unless I was meditating. Now, every now and then I could, but I found myself more and more and more in the future, which is where I've always been, because I'm worrying. So I thought, how can I fix this? So I started thinking, why do I do this? Why do I overthink? And I came up with a list of reasons. And then I thought, well, okay, there's really no need to do this. I don't benefit from it, not really. I mean, everybody benefits from having a to-do list for the day, the week, the month, whatever, and putting things on your calendar, setting, alerts on your phone so you don't miss any deadlines you have, or meetings, or assignments for school, things like that. But this can help you in every area. But you have to be careful, because in the beginning, what happened to me will happen to you, and you will miss appointments. I missed 2 appointments the first week that I did this, because I was enjoying it so much, and I wasn't looking into the future at all. But then I learned, okay, we need to use technology to help us with this. So I started setting these alarms so that I would know what I needed to do, like, a week before and then the morning of. That way I wouldn't forget. But you don't want to, say you have a project due on the last day of the month and it's the 3rd day of the month. Why do you want to worry about it the entire month? Just set aside some time each day to think about that particular thing. or every other day if you have that luxury. So what you can do, and I want you to do this as soon as you can, draw out your day. However that looks to you visually, it might be a timeline. You might draw, 24 squares, because you're gonna chop up your day. You're gonna section off your day into time blocks. And I suggest starting with it's up to you really. You could start with 2-hour blocks or 6-hour blocks or 4-hour blocks. I went at first with the 2-hour blocks because I wanted to be able to see if I could be as present as possible. But in my scheduling of that, I learned that I needed to make put within one of those 2-hour blocks, tarot readings for this, or this client this, or this course this, or work on this book for this long, or baby girl has a doctor's appointment at this time on this day or whatever. And so just get all that laid out, that you have for that month. Shouldn't be too much unless you're a student. If you're a student, it's going to be difficult, but this is going to help you. It's going to help you with your stress, because so many college kids kill themselves because it's stressful. It is stressful. So chop up your day, put it into blocks, pick the hours that you want. You want to focus on, you want 4-hour blocks. Say you're going with 4-hour blocks. So within that 4-hour block, you're not going to think about the past, because you shouldn't be doing that anyway. If you're doing that, please stop, do some shadow work, figure out what's going on and why you can't stop living in the past, because you cannot do that. You cannot change it. I mentioned going to the Akashic Records. If you must, check out that video where I talk about that. I'll link it below. But please, please don't do that. You are just setting yourself up for failure in everything. You can't do shit about it, no matter what happened to you. And I'm so sorry if you had to go through hell. Okay, life is hard. Childhood is hard. Things happen in our past. It just does. But we cannot live there. Okay, we cannot live there. We cannot be in the state of mind all the time that life is hard. If you think that life is hard, guess what? It's going to be hard. Okay? Maybe it was in the past. Well, that's done. That's not today. So from now on, you need to understand life will not be hard. Life will be easy. Life will be fun. Life is easy. Life is fun. I love my life. And look for reasons to support it, and you'll mean it, and you'll be happy. So put your blocks, and during that block, you're not thinking about the past, because that's gone. That's dead. Bye. You're not thinking about the future either. You're not worrying about what you have to, do at the end of the month until it's time to focus on it in that block. So you might have a block where you just do things dedicated to self-care, or a block for family time, or both in one block, or what do I do in my morning block? Make sure you include somewhere in that morning block, the first thing, your morning meditation. It is so important that you meditate in the morning while you're still in theta, not before you go to sleep. It can help you go to sleep. You can do it then, but not only then. Morning. If you have to get up earlier, you won't regret it. It helps you to receive downloads and inspiration throughout the day, so you can take inspired action. And it helps open your eyes to see things that you might not see otherwise, okay? So do that. And then block off your day. And I know it sounds weird, you're going to forget stuff, but if you plan it out, it does take a little planning, especially at first. But once you're within that block, say this is my block where I'm focusing on tarot readings. That doesn't mean I'm spending let's say I'm doing 4-hour blocks. I'm not spending the whole 4 hours on that. I might use, 30 minutes of that to do something enjoyable, while I'm preparing and starting to connect and get everything ready, and I'm doing something enjoyable during that time. And then I do those, and during that time I don't worry about what I need to make for dinner, or what I need to do with this, or that I need to, do this at the bank, or this here, or this there. I don't do that. I just focus on that one thing during that time. And then when it's time to switch, I switch. And if I need to adjust the blocks, because time is going over, then you can do that. Just use common sense. But the whole purpose of it isn't to get a super tight schedule. It's to release yourself from worrying about the future. Because if you say to yourself, okay, during 12 and 4, I'm not going to do anything except for work on this paper that I have due for school, and it's not due till the end of the month, but during this 4-hour block, I'm going to dedicate it to that time. That doesn't mean you're working for 4 whole hours. Maybe you do something fun, relax, have a snack, and then during that block is the time you have to worry about that paper. And then once you're done with that block, the next block, you're not thinking about that paper or whatever you had in any other block. And I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it will help you. If you're a worrier or an overthinker, it's going to keep you aligned, because you're not going to be stressed and worried. Because when you overthink things, especially if it's in regards to your manifestation, you're going to overthink it and push it away. And don't do that. So this will really help you during times of manifestation, which should be all the time, because it is all the time, whether you are trying or not. If you're trying to bring something that you really want toward you, you need to align with it by having really high vibes, because it'll be faster. And then you're going to want to manifest something else, so you're not going to change anything. But this exercise and every other exercise I've talked about will ultimately really start to help heal you mentally. And I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've been to a bunch of them. And I don't need them anymore. I don't. I fired my psychiatrist. I kept my therapist because I like her, but we don't talk about issues anymore. We just talk about fun stuff. So it will help you so much, I promise. It will. And then a couple of real quick other things that you can do is rely on your empathy. You're probably an empath anyway, or, at least sort of empathic. We're all connected anyway. So in a way, everyone should be an empath, but some people just can't access that or choose not to. But put yourself in someone else's shoes. Try to see things from their perspective before you respond. And try to remember, this is deep and it's hard to remember, but we're all one consciousness. And ultimately, when it boils down to it, everything is energy. It's all energy. So all the stuff going on in Ukraine right now, no matter how sad it is, it's just energy. It's energy that's vibrating at a low level. There's conflicts going on, and there's always going to be something somewhere going on. Even in your life, it might be small, but there's always going to be something, some sign of disorder, because we have order and we have disorder. That's why your bodies die, because something can only stay in order for so long. It's just the way it is. So just remember that. And that will ultimately help you to forgive when you understand that who are you? Who are you to judge situations in the first place? And it's really hard to forgive sometimes, but we'll talk about that more later. But just something to kind of think about. Something to think about, especially if you're somebody who's constantly wanting to lay down revenge spells and you always feel like you're the victim. Put yourself in their shoes and see if there's maybe anything that you missed during your shadow work about you that you need to fix. And that doesn't mean it's always you. There are a bunch of assholes on this planet, trust me. A bunch of them. I know. In that case, process it. Your body releases cortisol for 2 minutes. 2. So if you're still stressed out about it after those 2 minutes, you're milking it. And you're only hurting one person by milking that shit, and that's you. You're not hurting your enemy, so to speak. Your lover doesn't want to hear about it anymore. Your friend doesn't want to hear about it anymore. They might listen, but you're not helping them. You're bringing them down too. So why not just stop and raise your vibes? Once you rise up, bring those around you up. Isn't that better than bringing the ones that you love down with you in the mud? All because of something somebody else said? And maybe you even deserved it. Maybe you didn't even realize, something that was going on. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. So try to analyze situations for a little bit before you react, especially if it's a big deal that has big consequences. Think before you speak. I know that sounds mundane and cheesy and stupid, but seriously, think before you speak, especially if you are an air sign, okay, or even a water sign, because you guys are emotional, and fire signs, maybe not earth signs. Tauruses, they will say shit in a heartbeat. They don't think before they speak, but, just be careful. Be careful. Filter yourself. Have some type of filter. And don't hold things in that are going to bring your vibes down. Let them go. If you need to go to one of those places where they give you a hammer and a mallet and axe and put you in a room with a bunch of shit that you can break, that stuff's fun. It's not that cheap, but it's fun. Go do that. Get yourself a punching bag. Scream into a pillow. Meditate. Go for a barefoot walk. Go for a swim. Go for a nature hike. Do any of those things I talk about in those videos about raising your vibes. But the key is to not let anyone affect them in the first place. Try to empathize with the situation. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Process it. Poof it out of existence. And then move on and focus on something happy. Focus on something that you're thankful for. Focus on something that you love. And then don't let them get to you. There should be no one that holds that much power over you. Don't let them. Don't let them. And if you have someone that is trying to hold that much power over you, and it's not like a work situation that you have to do right now, but it's a situation that you're voluntarily putting yourself in, you need to shut that shit down. Because do you want to be with that person when you make your first $1 million? Do you want to be with them when you make your first $100 million? Think about that. If you're in the midst of a big life change, you might want to change the people around you as well. And 9 times out of 10, the universe is going to do it for you anyway. So you might as well go ahead and start cooperating. Because you're going to start vibing at a different level. And they're going to fall away anyway. And maybe they already are, or they already have. If that's happening, that's normal. It's normal. Just say goodbye. It was nice to have you in my life. Thank you for the season I spent with you. Gotta go. You're going to start attracting people that are in alignment with you, that are in alignment with your desire. And that's a lot of times how, new millionaires are created from the ground up, is because they start, vibing with and attracting these people that are in this field that relate to what you want to do. And then you're networking, and then you're building each other up, and next thing you know it, boom, you're riding with them in a limo to be interviewed somewhere to do something related to your business. So just some food for thought. And if I have anything to add, I'll make another video, but I think that's it. All right, guys, bless me.